Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle. My co-hosts are showing up here any second now. Reed is joining us as we speak. But thank you for joining the Burgundy Zone. The Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listenfrederick.com. And the title of tonight's episode is Super Chill. It is going to be a super chill Super Bowl over here at the Roenick household. So to be able to, enjoy this chillaxity, you could say, even make it up a word now, our man, former Washington Redskin wide receiver, Anthony Armstrong. How you doing, brother?
I'm well, man. You talk about chill. You got the right one, baby. I'm
Yeah,
glad to be
you
here for this title of the
you
show.
are chill as hell.
I try to stay cool, Reed, man. I try to stay cool all the time. I mean, I get hyped from here and there. There's a right time and a place for it, right? You can't
Right.
always run around on 10. You know what I mean? You got to
Yeah,
save it and then crash out from time to time. Strategically located and placed, crashing out is key.
Yeah,
that's true.
definitely
Well,
not as chill as
Kyle,
Jaden Daniels, though, because Snoop Dogg says, what he say at the award ceremony, that weed smokes him to chill out a
yeah,
little.
real fast, Kyle, can you promise me that if I ever decide to go to the Grammys and make my wife dress naked, you will take my phone for the weekend? Good Lord, dude. That has been wild.
Hey, look, man,
Man.
we're going to leave Kanye out of this, okay?
It's all I want to talk about. It's
I know.
everywhere.
With that being said, it's Super Bowl Sunday, Anthony. What are some of your favorites that you think, like, let's say you were having a Super Bowl party, money wasn't an issue. You were like, I'm going to invite whoever, all my closest friends. What are you going to prepare?
Man, shoot, I could say real talk today. I have nothing that I'm doing. My mom's bringing chili, but like if it were, I would honestly have it catered, and I would just be like, give me a big old barbecue spread, man.
Okay.
One of the coolest things I heard was that who is it? The UFC guy, Dana White. He has a Super Bowl party. He ends up going in and getting all type of random props and puts them in a dish, and then the guests get to pull one out and they might win. So it's just like, how long is the national anthem going to be? And if you pulled that ticket and you win that money. So some people win go away with a lot of money. So I think that'd be kind of
Oh,
fun to add a little
That's
pizzazz to it.
that's the rich person equivalent of getting a scratch off ticket for Christmas.
Basically,
You might
basically,
win. Sick. Yeah,
basically.
that's so cool.
Basically, I mean, shoot, it's always fun when you like play squares. You know what I mean? And if people
Yeah.
do, you trying to watch the score that way, but then you hate it when it's still 3-0, and then your cousin who never shows up then won 3 rounds in a row. You like, come on, man.
Yeah.
He don't never show up, but
Yeah.
that's
It's
neither
like
here.
you're not even part of the group chat, dude. How's that feel?
Exactly,
You're
exactly,
the cousin we didn't include. How do you like
exactly. He
that?
walking away with all
Yeah.
the money. Now we pissed.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Anthony,
Uh,
speaking of the award show, I have a good friend of mine, Ryan Strade. He's a diehard Raiders fan. He was arguing with me on Messenger about Brock Bowers deserving Offensive Rookie of the Year over Jaden Daniels. And so we kind of got in, and he was like, I want to come and debate. And I was like, look, we can debate about this, but after the award show. Because, like, I'm not going to do this what if kind of stuff. So I'm waiting for him to come on here. But that being said, Jaden won the award. Was there any doubt, honestly?
Man, I didn't have any doubt. Now, what Brock Bowers did is impressive. You know what I mean? The guy put up a hell of a lot of numbers, very productive, and should have a great career. But it didn't translate into any magical moments. I mean, when you compare these things, you're gonna have to sit there and say, what Brock Bowers catch do I remember? What Brock Bowers play do I remember? I remember plenty of plays that Jaden Daniels was a part of, and I think it comes with the position. So for what it's worth, Brock, there's a good argument to say yeah he deserved it, but due to that position, you're not playing this dynamic of a position to where you're going to make that much noise. So where he had a great season, man, it's been JD5 since that Hail Mary, maybe since the Cincinnati game where you were like, hold on now,
right.
you
That's
might
the
have
thing.
something.
If they both are having like, because Brock Bowers easily greatest rookie season of all time for a tight end, possibly even for a receiving target in NFL history. I mean, he
Yeah,
did fantastic, but like Jaden Daniels also arguably had the greatest rookie season of all time by a quarterback. So
Right.
when it comes down to that, it's like, okay, well, then you can kind of get into, well, who's affected the team more than who's play?
yeah.
Not even close. That's not even
Right.
it's not even an argument. Brock Bowers
And
didn't contribute to many wins,
that was
and
my
nothing against him.
that was my exact argument to Strayed when he was making this on Facebook was I know that he's having the best tight end rookie season
He's
ever,
amazing.
but
He's
Jaden
fantastic. He's an
arguably
all
is
pro.
doing that for quarterback. And currently at the moment, Washington was still in the playoffs, so it's like you have to go with the team aspect at that point
And
because you
the
can't
Raiders weren't
use
even close to sniffing the
right.
playoffs. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even, I mean, unfortunately,
I
tight
mean,
ends can only
if
have
we're
so
gonna
much of
be
an
if
effect.
we be fair, we'll say okay, he had 112 receptions, 1,194 yards receiving, five
Insane.
touchdowns on the year. So I mean, that's crazy stats.
Nuts.
He had nobody else to throw to. And he shipped Devontae Adams off.
Right.
Yeah,
Who's their
Jacoby
number one wide
Myers.
receiver? Right.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
nobody else to
right.
go to. It's just kind of like, hey man, this is
They
what you
also don't
want.
have a quarterback though.
This is what Atlanta wants out of Kyle Pitts. This is what they
Right.
want
Right.
Kyle Pitts to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a whole other team and whole other.
Yeah.
I'll take Brock. I'll take this production from a tight end. I would
Oh my
love
God,
that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll take
Yeah.
Brock Bowers. Come on over. Hell, since we making crazy trades, go on and get Brock Bowers. Bring him
Yeah.
over.
Speaking of, I mean, you brought up Kyle Pitts. That's kind of been a rumor that people are talking about. And a lot of people are like, I want to stay away from Kyle Pitts. How would you feel about if they did like for what price would you pay for him? Because the talent's obviously immense.
Man, look, the thing is talent. Talent is cool when you're coming out of the draft, right? When you're like, ah,
Right,
man,
right,
this
right.
guy could be, but it's been 5 years, and I think you've seen,
Yeah,
you know, that's just kind of what he is now. Until he gets underneath, maybe he needs to be underneath, behind a Zach Ertz. He needs to be in a situation where he's really going in and learning how to be a pro tight end. Um, maybe that's what it takes, but you take if you think. If this is Madden, hell yeah, bring him in.
yeah,
Bring him in. But,
right.
the on-field production just hasn't matched. So I mean, I could see, you taking a flyer on somebody else, but the physical traits are there, and it's something that you hope he gets his career going, but I think I would pass on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now Anthony, because of you could say the expectations ever since Washington made the playoffs and they won 2 games in it, you could say the expectations from here on out have been raised. And that's honestly what the Washington Commanders organization they would like those standards to be there every single year. We would love all to have our football clubs be that kind of aspect. But that being said, that kind of changes things in the sense of what Adam Peters has to do in the offseason. Do you think that this is going to be like Dan Graziano and others have rumored that Washington could be going like all in, so to speak, by going to get somebody like a Myles Garrett, or it was flirted with Debo Samuel possibly looking for a trade now?
You got to do it, baby. You got to do it. Strike while the iron is hot. You've overachieved in a sense right now. We're getting to the NFC Championship, and this is one of the weird situations where you can actually get better, right? Where do the Eagles get better? Like, right? Where do the Eagles improve from? How do the Bills improve from these things? The Commanders have plenty of room to get better, and adding a Myles Garrett will make you better, right? Adding a Debo Samuel will make you better. I mean, we can argue about what receiver, but adding a big time receiver is going to make you better and it's going to make you a stronger team going into the next season. Last summer, I just out of the blue, I was like, this team could have a pretty super next 3 to 5 years. All right. And super meaning Super Bowl. It's tracking. It's tracking. You've got the right leadership. You got the right guy. Everything's in place. Now you just got to make it show up on the field, and you're just a few pieces away. So Adam Peters is going to make some things happen. This is going to be exciting. I love the fact that you're sitting at 29 because you get to maneuver a little bit, right? It's
yeah,
not just like, okay, we're top 10. We're just going to take whoever is the best available at that spot or reach for somebody. Now, do you think he's going to trade up? He could. He could trade up and grab somebody, let somebody fall to him. There's a lot that could happen. Hell, that
right.
pick may not even be his if we get Myles Garrett. So,
That's that's the other thing. Then you look at it and it's like, all right, well, if we're gonna trade, like let's say it takes 2 first-round picks and somebody to get Myles Garrett at least. So all right, but I mean you're picking 29, so it's basically just like having an early second-round pick. So that's kind of what you got to expect. And the thing about Myles Garrett that you got, or about Adam Peters that you got to like, is he's already shown that like he thinks they can win now. That's why he went and got Marshawn Lattimore.
Right.
That's why he was like, okay, well yeah, we're right there. So you got to be thinking he's ready to contend. I love that.
Well, and also you have to couple the fact of like what Debo does, just as a receiver standpoint, very close to the line of scrimmage, that kind of yak kind of receiver, right, where he's getting those screens and then going upfield. That fits perfectly with what Cliff Kingsbury and this offense has been doing all season long. It would be a fit in that regard. But that
yeah.
being said, I know you kind of talked about what you would want to do at 29. Let's say you had to stay put at 29, Anthony. What position do you think that Washington should be targeting with that 29th spot?
Man, I honestly don't know all the full depth, but the ones I'm paying attention to are running back. Is the kid Gene T there? He's somebody that's kind of intriguing. Had a pretty productive season. Receiver, that seems to be a pretty deep draft as well. Some of the flash players may be gone. That fella McMillan out of Arizona, he's somebody, but I think you need to get some size. But the only thing about you got to wait for free agency. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
think in the draft, I would likely say running back or O-line fall at 29 because free agency get some players that you don't need to develop. We've been down the road of drafting a receiver, and it takes some time to develop somebody. We don't got time. We trying to win
yeah.
now. Go get that missing piece from the free agency pool. But 29 O-line running back would be my play.
My man.
That's the weird thing about I've done some mock drafts in this, and like when you look at our team, like we look at it, like I've been going like wide receiver, offensive tackle, but it's like our offense is so good. Our defense is what's really needed help with struggle, but like that's where the needs are. Like when you got an offense like this, and you know our offense could even be better, you're like, all right, hey, I'll go three straight offensive players at this point. I don't care. Surround JD with all you want. That's how you got to win.
Yeah, edge defender might be the spot where to be at for that 29th pick based on who's going to be
Could be for
available.
sure.
PFF. Now we
Don't
are
be
joined.
surprised if they spend money on a defensive tackle too.
Now we are
After
joined
getting
by
rained on
our
like that.
other co-host, Mr. Michael Hall. Thank you for joining us, brother. We briefly
Yo,
talked about the Super Bowl like food, outlook of the offseason, the Offensive Rookie of the
Kanye.
Year
We talked
award,
about Kanye.
and what to do at 29. So, do you have a question for Anthony?
Um, so they blocked David Blau from interviewing with the Jets or taking another job. I guess obviously I guess they're going to probably give him some type of higher up like role or whatever it may be. But do you think that's a guy that could possibly be like a succession plan to Cliff Kingsbury when he takes a head coaching job, or do you think he's a guy that's going to go with Cliff, or do you think maybe they're looking forward to like, hey, this is an up and coming guy, maybe he'll be our OC in a couple of years?
Yeah, OC, you're looking a little bit ways down the line. I think that it's probably his direct relationship with working with JD is
Agreed.
probably keeping that cocoon around him as much as possible. You're going to lose some people here and there, and you talk about losing Cliff. I mean, what are you going to do with Brian Johnson? Is something what's he? I haven't seen anything about it, so I think there's a few names in there that would probably come up first, but you're also like looking back in the past, like I don't let all my young talent go. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If you can block that one, because you still got Tavika Pritchard, you still got Johnson, you got a lot of quarterbacks in that space. I think, hey, cover him up as much as possible. Keep JD with the same group of people. Don't have a lot of change, and let's just focus on riding this one out. If you have some success, then let everybody go where they want to go, and then figure it out after that. But nah, I think it's helping to keep the quarterback, developing well.
Reed.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the most important thing. I don't know if you've heard, Anthony, but there's the birds are on the TV there, I think at about 6 p.m. or something. Who do you got winning the Super Bowl?
Man, I tell you, tough matchup, right? Tough matchup. Philly's a good team.
They're so good. I hate it.
They're good. Their
So
defense is
good.
playing well. I mean, they got scrappy corners, so it's going to be interesting to see Mitchell and Worthy. They're gonna get physical. They're gonna play physical. But right now, Spagnuolo's defense is playing lights out. Carried this team. They've carried this
Yeah.
team to the
Mahomes hasn't
Super
even
Bowl.
been that good. Yeah, the
Exactly.
defense has just been lights out.
Exactly. So like when you look at it, it's a tough matchup. But starting this year, it was like, look, man, these guys have a chance to go for a three-peat. They continually lose people and then still go to the Super Bowl. I picked KC then, and I picked KC now, but I even more because it ain't ever Philly. I'm not picking Philly. It's just I don't, nobody likes Philly fans. All those
Nope.
guys are great guys. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ, Devontae Smith, great individuals, great
Yeah,
human beings.
right.
But I can't pick Philly. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
And it's kind of just been like reintegrated into my life, like how much I hate Philly after just the last two times we played them. Because
They tend to
obviously,
pick they tend to pick their own scabs, don't they? They tend to be like,
yeah,
"Hey,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
things been quiet. Remember why you didn't like us? Here they are again."
yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, that's why, because you bad person. You're
Yeah,
bad people up there.
bingo.
Disgusting place, Philadelphia. City of brotherly love. Yeah, right. They don't love you. They don't love their brothers.
Right. Now, to wrap this up, Anthony, only have a couple more questions for you. But we're becoming members of our church. We had a members class today, and there's a guy in there in Phillies gear, and I have my Commanders hat on, of course. And his wife made a comment like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like what happened with the Commanders in the NFC Championship game." But my whole question to you, Anthony, is like I find it hard to be able to answer that because like as much as I want to be pissed off that Washington's not playing in the Super Bowl, and as much as there was a ass whooping, getting 55 put on you, you still are really happy with the fact of this was just the beginning and what could possibly be in the future. So how do Washington fans kind of like rationalize it and look at what's happened?
Man, you don't hang your head at all. I was hurt with y'all. Trust me, I was quiet for about a week because I was just still feeling it and was emotionally invested with it. But it's one of those ones where you say, man, these guys did way more than I had even expected, and frankly, they reignited a joy for the game, right? They reignited a passion and a following for the organization. So that's what you focus on. You know what you have is something that can stay. This isn't a flash in the pan marketing stunt that, bring in a big name player and hope it carries you. No, 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 no. This is real. This is real. You tell them this shit. Don't worry, we'll be back. We'll be
I mean,
back.
I know you're right. And my next question for you: your favorite announcers, like let's say the whatever CBS, Fox, whoever's doing it, comes to you and says, or NBC comes to you and says, who are your two favorite, like your announcer and analyst combination, or two random
Ooh.
guys that you love to have call the Super Bowl?
Man, that is tough. You know one who I think really deserves that opportunity and he got hosed? Greg Olson. I think
He's
Okay.
so good.
Greg Olson is good. He got pushed to the side just because hey, it's a name.
Yeah.
It's a name game, but Greg is good. He's got a lot of talent about him. You can tell he studies the game. He still got that caveman look going though, so they got to kind of clean that up.
Yeah.
But no, Greg Olson is good. I like Troy Aikman too. I like how
Okay.
Troy gets up there and he keeps it real. He's not afraid to talk bad or say somebody's doing something stupid.
He called the
Uh,
refs out against the Chiefs. Yeah, that
yeah.
was yeah.
And that's probably the reason that keeps him from getting on the biggest of stages because he's not afraid to telling somebody
Yeah.
off.
I will
Yeah.
say my pick would have been Mike Tirico and Greg Olson. I think those two together. I think Mike Tirico is the best in the game.
Mike Tirico's voice is so
Yeah.
good, dude.
Yeah,
He
and
gets me so hyped.
at this point, it just like those big time moments. It kind of just connects with Tarico, and I think Greg Olson does a great job of kind of like breaking things down. And he's like kind of honest about things, like brutally honest to a point. Like I remember him calling one of the Commanders games, and he was just like, "This is not supposed to happen" when it was a really bad play. So I
Hmm.
credit Greg for being so honest with it.
Yeah.
Now,
I almost went outside of the box. Old school Wizards announcers, Steve Buckants and Phil Chenier. You guys remember them?
oh
Used
yeah,
to call the Wizards games. Hell yeah.
they were
You-
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dagger.
Anthony,
Dagger from
Anthony,
Bethesda.
last question I have for you, brother. Let's say you being a former wide receiver, Washington's moves at wide receiver, they're going to be important. They only have like I think Terry McLaurin and Luke McCaffrey under contract going into 2025. Who do you think returns for the team in 25?
I've been working out for the past 3 weeks, so I'm gonna throw my name
Yeah.
in
There we go.
there.
Hell yeah.
But I think that you really got to go bring Diami back. All right, I think
He earned it.
show him the vote of confidence that he finished that season strong. That fumble, whatever. Right, that's just something to light a fire under you to keep you driving for next year. But he finished strong. I think you got to bring him back into the fold. I'd love to see Crowder again. I think he just brings enough of that veteran leadership. And I would say go get Noah Brown as well. Go get him as well because his physicality is something that you can use. Outside of that, it's gonna be some guys that are gonna have to just kind of prove it. Really, you don't have to spend a whole bunch after that. But Terry, bring Noah, Diami, and then whatever you do in free agency. So yeah, that'd
My
be my
man.
play.
I know that Jamison Crowder, if he doesn't return, if he doesn't land himself on a team, he'll be starting his own podcast, like he talked about when he was mic'd up. I'm gonna start a podcast.
He
All
can
right,
come on. He can
Jamison.
come on. He can join me.
It's
Hell, tell
yeah,
him come on
him and
over
Anthony.
here.
Imagine
Let me
that.
tweet
Yeah.
at him.
There's so much,
That's
so much
incredible.
speed on a
Yeah.
microphone. Craziness.
Yeah.
I love
It,
it.
it would yeah, it would be like Bone Thugs. Just so much speed, so much. Yeah. Mhm.
Anthony,
Oh,
I can't.
God.
Anthony, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man. Enjoy this Super Bowl Sunday, brother. But before you get out of here, just like to plug your social media handle and your show, just in case anybody's following that hasn't yet.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Rated Armstrong on all platforms, and believe Commanders is where you can listen to the podcast. I just did one the other day, finally reacting to the NFC Championship and kind of looking ahead and what this team has coming up in front of them. So check that out for me, please, and do me a favor and comment on there too. Like and comment and subscribe.
My man, Anthony, enjoy your
you go.
Sunday, brother. God bless you.
Sir, appreciate it.
Take it
Appreciate
easy,
y'all.
man.
All right,
Y'all be
man.
good.
All right, everybody. We just spoke with the man, Mr. Anthony Armstrong. Always a dude. Anthony's one of my favorites, of course.
He is
That's
the
my
best.
guy.
You know,
He's
we,
the best.
we know he personally loves Hall to death. What's going on, boys? We're all
guy.
three together. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, is it back in town?
You know what? Anytime, it's just like this is just the way it works. Anytime Kanye goes out like this, it's like it heals things for us, you know. It's and that's I don't know if that's good or bad, but I like to think we just come together.
Thank you, Kanye. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
no-
Thank you, Kanye.
No pun intended.
Don't say that right now. Jesus Christ.
Didn't he say?
I
Did
will
he
say-
tweet out something that said "Free P Diddy" or something like that?
Oh, Free Puppet 2. Oh, Kyle. He's tweeted way worse than that.
I was gonna say that might have been like the best thing he said.
Yeah, that was up there. The funny one, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them were funny, but the funniest one was like I turned down photos with 6 Make-A-Wish kids in wheelchairs just out of nowhere. Just it's like okay, cool, but he's wilding. You know what? I've been thinking about it. I was listening to some old Kanye in the car. And you know what I thought about it? I listened to Through the Wire. I said Kanye probably has CTE from that accident for real. He's probably had I think he does because this is like around the age, and then like his mom dying, and then the divorce with Kim, and then obviously he's severely bipolar, and it's like damn, watching your heroes fall. It's sad. Is funny, but it's very sad.
He did say that he's not bipolar; he's autistic. He did say that.
Yeah, but then he also said, that was the funniest clip ever. That was from the last time he did this. He was like, and the doctors tried to diagnose me. I'm not going to say what kind of doctor it was. It was a Jewish doctor. And you're just like, dude, chill, stop. What are you doing? But
Oh,
he's a wreck, man. I hope that dude gets help because that's sad. One of the goats.
yeah, absolutely. Obviously, if he needs some help, of course, it's always
Yeah.
appreciated. Now let's
Yeah,
answer
the sign
some.
was taking your naked wife to the Grammys. You were invited to. Like, no, seriously. Next time somebody does that, take their phone. Don't
Oh.
don't let them
Now-
talk to media.
Hall, this question from the Colonel. After today's game, what is the next milestone regarding player acquisition? Will we start to see free agency signings as soon as tomorrow, or is there a date free agency begins?
Yeah, it starts on the new league year, which I believe is like March 12th or somewhere around there, somewhere around that date. And that's when free agency begins. I think they have like the what do they call it? Like the talking
Tampering period?
Tampering period, yeah, the tampering period where they can start like a day before, 2 days before, whatever it might be. But I would say that at the combine is where you're gonna like
Yeah.
all the agents, all the GMs are gonna be out there, all
The
the
trades.
front office people, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where they're going to be talking about. Like nothing's going to be like done or like what do you call it? Like official or like finalized, but you'll start hearing more and more rumors starting to leak out towards the end of February at the combine.
Yeah, for what's the next milestone regarding player acquisition? I honestly think that edge is something that needs to be invested into, and I'm not sure if it's going to be like a player. Like honestly, personally, I think Myles Garrett and company they're doing this to get more money from Cleveland. Like I'm not 100% sold that Myles Garrett actually wants to leave
They
Cleveland.
could literally just go up to him and be like, "I want to be here forever. Give me more money," and they'd be like, "Here you go."
Right, and
And
that's
he
my-
already came. He already came on Mina Kimes' podcast and was like, or Rich Eisen, whoever it was. He was like, "This isn't about money." He's like, "I want to win Super Bowls."
Yeah,
contend
dude,
for
but
Super Bowls."
he's wasting away out there. Like, you know.
That's
in
fine, but I'm just saying
in
if they
that
come up
shitty state.
if they come up to you with an extension because he has no
Yeah.
more guaranteed money, right? Like he's not going to say no to a huge dollar amount. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I don't
he
know,
would
man.
at this
I
point.
think he's the type of dude. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I think at this point, he already said, he was like, my intentions were, because Andrew Barry was like, our intentions are for him
he
to go to
can't go through
Cleveland
another
to Canton.
rebuild. Yeah,
He was like, yeah, my intentions are never going to go from Cleveland to Canton. My intentions were to play and contend for Super
Okay.
Bowls.
We're getting off we're getting off track, okay? All my point was is that I don't know if they're going to go down that route because of how expensive it's going to be. Like, there's even been rumors of Minka Persons out in Dallas being floated around as being trade available. Debo,
Dallas
obviously,
would never,
Debo's another one. Max Crosby is another guy, but I don't know if they're going to go down that route. But I think that edge is probably going to be very important and to invest to. And I would not discount guard because we have to remember that Sam Cosmi tore his ACL in that divisional game, right? And so we don't know how long he's going to be out for. And so that's a position that you're going to have
majority
to
of the
invest
season.
just for, obviously for one season, but like you're going to need to be able to add something there. And so I'm really intrigued to see how they go about doing that.
Yeah. Or like if in the draft, maybe let's say that at 29 or whatever, they take somebody to play left tackle, do you put Brandon Coleman in there at right guard? I mean, he's got experience at guard. Like, what do you? That's true because now that's just another position you got to fill. But at the same time, then right tackle isn't Wiley's contract up?
I think he has one more year.
One more year, okay. Well, then that's cool. That's pretty chill.
Yeah, it is pretty chill. And I think
Thank
Tyler
you.
Badass signed a multi-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Now,
Now,
watch your
read
language.
this next question from the Colonel. Both Bucky Brooks and Dan Jeremiah have us taking an offensive tackle in the first round of their mock drafts 1.0. I could also see us taking an edge rusher or even a cornerback if one of the top prospects falls to us. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. Yeah. I would imagine that, like, no matter what happens, like, they're going to prioritize the offensive line, and it's nothing like, we don't know. Brandon Coleman did all right, I mean, he's still growing into the position. Like, do they think that he could develop even further? Possibly, but he's also, or do they view him more as somebody who's kind of like a utility swing tackle or spot starter, or somebody who can step in and play guard if you need him to, right? Guard early on. But I think you kind of have to, like, left tackle is so important, and just getting good protection for JD is so important. Even though JD did a hell of a job, obviously, but yeah. And then edge, I think an elite edge would take this team over the top of wide receiver, depending on what happens in free agency. Yeah, those are really the positions. I mean, corner obviously are you would think so, but I mean they do have Marshawn and Sanders still, and then are they going to bring back Benogian, who was really good in the slot this year? So who knows how high they're going to prioritize it, but corner is such a premier position. You can never have enough in the NFL, and who knows what's going to happen with Igbinogian. So, yeah, I think those positions are really what you got to look at.
I do think it is funny whenever these mock drafts come out, especially this early. Obviously, they have their connections and they know guys, and so they're able to get some input. But
Guys.
let's look at the offensive tackle class in the first round of last year. Joe Alt gets taken, and he was honestly, when I looked at it, I said
He's
Joe
a
Alt's
stud.
the number one
Yeah.
offensive lineman in the board, and everyone was calling me crap. They were saying Olu
Because
Fushanu.
everybody was all on Olu. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they were
remember I
all on
was
Olu,
too.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think Olu was honestly that good to be warranted to
Yeah.
go over Joe Alt. And Joe Alt started at right tackle. Olu didn't even start at all for the Jets, right? And so you have to imagine that getting a startable left tackle in the draft is very difficult. You have to nail that, right? A lot of credit to the Minnesota Vikings with Darisaw. They were a team that were able to do that. It's
Yeah.
very
And that
hard.
was late in the first round, too.
Right. And so my whole point is at 29, I don't know if there's going to be startable tackles at that position. And so I do think it is funny whenever these sort of things come out.
Hey, man, they felt kind of comfortable drafting a starting tackle in the third round. So I think when it comes to Adam Peters, I think he knows his shit. I think if there's somebody there that he thinks can start, he'll say, yes, sir. Come
That
on
being
down.
said, Brandon Coleman was rotating for majority
Yeah,
of the year.
but he was rotating with who?
Cornelius Lucas.
Exactly.
He was actually,
do you think
Cornelius was killing
no,
it this
he
year.
was good, but do you think that they were very comfortable going in there with just like, like you
Oh,
drafted
no,
it,
not
you
just
brought him in
Cornelius Lucas. No,
with
no,
either him
you're right.
rotating or him being the starter?
Yeah, I'm
So,
with you. I'm with you. It's just
significant time.
It's just the whole talking point of saying that he started this year. It's like I understand that, but it wasn't like he started day one. All right,
Yeah.
like he did work himself
Yeah.
into it.
But
And
yeah, the point he was playing meaningful snaps all
Yes.
season at a premier position.
But I do think that you're sniffing around the right place in regards to edge. I do think there's going to be some very capable edge rushers out
Mike
there.
Green.
The one guy that I really enjoyed looking at was the edge rusher from oh my goodness.
The one who had his shirt off. That's what you're talking about. That's why you like looking
No,
at him.
there's a certain guy.
You
I
said,
just
look at the way he's sculpted.
I just
Good God,
watched
his
him
pecs.
today. I just watched him today, dude. Of course, and I can't think of it. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Hold on. Of course, I can't think of it, dude. Oh, Donovan Ezuriku from Boston College.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How's he? I haven't watched it anymore.
I really like his tape. There's some times where like he's not on the field all the time, but when you're talking about somebody that reminds you of somebody like Minka and how you could kind of use them all over the field in different ways of, dropping back into coverage and other things like that. This guy he's 16 and a half sacks this year. For Boston College. And Will Blackman is a coach for them in the secondary. Would love to hear his thoughts on a guy like that. But there's a couple guys there you feel comfortable with. But that's one name I watched today that I was like, ooh, this guy can actually play a little bit. And if you're at 29, you're looking for impact player, I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys pretty much hit on it. I think offensive line, edge, cornerback, and you could probably even throw wide receiver if they really like a guy that they believe they're going to get value on, because when you're picking at that spot and then just Adam Peters overall, if you go back to like last year, there was never like, I'm going to pick for a need. They were just picking best player available. It just happened to coincide with a need because they had so many holes. So I feel like with a lot of holes that are going to be on the roster again, depending on what they do in free agency, guys leaving and who they bring back, I think that it'll be the same philosophy this year as far as like who's the best player available. All right, we're going to take this guy. And it just so happens that we need this guy to a premium position. So those three positions are definitely on the board. And like I said, maybe even a wide receiver, like a guy like Luther Burden. I think Burden from Missouri, or what's his name from Ohio State? The crazy name.
Amika,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not okay, sir. Sir,
Yeah,
stop
come
that.
on, dude.
That's so
What
racist.
the hell was that? You can't do
So
that.
racist.
You cannot do
It's
that.
okay. I'm black. He's black. We can do that.
One thing,
Yeah, but there's no such thing as race anymore, dude. There's no such thing as gender. There's
we
nothing.
don't see color on the Burgundy zone.
That's
I
right.
apologize.
That's right. Thank you.
I remember,
Even though we're called the Burgundy zone.
I remember last year.
Kind of need to see the color for that.
When I was watching the film last year, when I was watching on Olu Fashanu and Joe Alt, I remember seeing JT Tuamulo from Ohio State, the edge rusher from them, just whoop up on Olu, and Joe Alt did a very good job on him. JT is a guy who's projected right now by Pro Football Focus in the 43s. Like, I would feel very confident if that guy, if he does take that extra step, like let's just say with his measurables, we'll look at the film again, of course, but there's plenty of guys there in that position, in that area, that's going to be plenty.
If we're being honest, I would probably be, at this point in time, just because they probably view whoever is like on their big board at 29, 30, that area, and maybe that's say 35-ish, as maybe like the same player. So I wouldn't be surprised. And we need new picks. So we know Adam Peters likes to have picks. So I wouldn't even be surprised at this point. They're just like thinking about trading back early second round, maybe trade back to like pick 33, 34, 35, somewhere around there. Recoup a second round pick or a third round pick as well. And then you get more bites at the apple. You still get a guy that you believe that can be a contributor and help you out. Like you said, too early in the process, but I mean, at this point, pretty much everything.
Especially with the reports of this draft class. Like there's reports that came out just like a week ago that like a lot of NFL GMs say that there's maybe 8 to 10 surefire first round picks. The rest are all kind of graded pretty closely in the top 50. So it's like, anything could happen.
Maybe a guy like who's it, James Pierce from Tennessee. Maybe he drops down to 29.
He was,
and they're like, hey, maybe he drops into the second round. They're like, hey, we can get him at 34 and instead of 29, and we get some picks as well. We still get our guys. So
I watched him a little bit the other day. Not bad at all. And even
I like him. I've seen a couple Tennessee.
I mean, he was supposed to be like a top 5 pick last year or the year like coming out, and then I think he had like a down year last year. Maybe I don't remember what it was. It was something weird. Like maybe his freshman year he was supposed to be super high, but then I think this year he improved on his run defense a lot, which is like crazy because he was supposed to be super slender and just like a premier pass rusher. So that's the kind of person that we need. We need to stop the run, dude.
Well, that we also need.
Maybe we can just draft Flex Seal and plug up all these holes on the defense. You know what I'm saying?
Or we draft Reed's boy in the draft, Alabama linebacker Jihad Campbell.
Why is that my boy? Why is that my boy? Go ahead, Kyle. Why?
But no, let's go to our next question. Hall, this is from Tony Franchise. What was your favorite Super Bowl of all time?
Oh man, it's a good one. I would say probably honestly that 28-3 Patriots comeback, just because I think you might have been at Ryan's crib that day too, and like
I probably
everyone was like,
was.
"Oh, yeah,
I probably was. I think we recorded drunkies that morning.
yeah," and then like I was like the day. Actually, I know you were because I started at GB the very next day, and I was like, "Yo, they haven't like called me about my P test. Like, am I supposed to just show tomorrow? Like, what do I do?"
Why would that be a
But
concern, Hall?
because
Here's
I'd ate like a poppy seed
my-
bagel, like mini poppy seed bagels. Like,
Damn,
nah, but
you're gonna test positive for
Dude,
morphine.
Hall's the one that taught me about the toilet bowl trick.
yeah,
What's the
man.
toilet bowl trick, Kyle?
So,
We can't.
The one
Nah,
where
that's for another day. That's
so
for the
we were getting
that's
on.
for summer. That's
We
for the
were
summer stories.
we were
I thought
pissing.
Kyle just bobbed for apples in the toilet and he
No,
liked it.
we were pissing to get on a job site because whoever works at a job site has to pass a drug test. So we were all meeting up at this drug place to go take the test or whatever. And
What kind of
so
drugs were you
everyone,
testing?
literally everyone is flipping out. I'm not going to tell
Yeah.
you why, but everyone's flipping out. And so everyone comes out and they all have their card like they passed. And so we're all sitting there like, how did you do it? And this one guy, Nate, comes back and Nate's like, no, I didn't pass it
I
again.
didn't pass.
And so we were making fun of him. And then here comes Hall. And I was like, there's no way Hall comes with his card. And he was like, yeah, man, I just dumped it. I dumped my cup in like half of it full of toilet water, pissed a little bit of it, and it worked.
Yeah, no, you gotta look. Scoop
Damn.
some. If there's no, obviously, like you can't do this if you're on probation because they watch you. But for like a
Yeah.
job or something like that, scoop a little bit of toilet water. It can't be like if they have the blue stuff in there, then like you're screwed. But if it's just like regular toilet water, scoop a little toilet water, pee in there to like that much, get a little bit of a yellow tint, swirl it around, so it gets a little bit of warmth in there. So they're like, oh, it's fresh, hot, warm pee. Give it to
Yeah.
them. They chest it. It's pretty much diluted because it's all water. So you're good.
Yeah, I
That would
remember.
be
But you
pretty
didn't hear
funny
that.
if they stood.
You didn't hear that.
Yeah, if they stood outside and listened, and then they were like, "What was that splashing?" And you're like, "That's how I wash myself after I pee." What do you mean?
So
You don't
Gene-
splash toilet water on your genitals? That's
Gene
what I
used to
do.
piss. Gene used to piss in bottles for the guys. And I remember him saying one time, he was like, "This is grade A piss right here. You wouldn't be able to survive."
He was supposed to
without
do
me."
it that day, and he walks out
You
and he's
can't-
like, "Oh, I forgot to pee in the bottle for y'all. My bad, guys." And we're all like, "Bruh."
That's good. You can't even go to local middle schools anymore and ask the kids to pee for you because everybody over the age of 12 smokes weed these days. So it's like,
That's true.
yeah.
That is true.
All right, but
Allegedly.
favorite Super Bowl of all time? Did you answer
Oh,
that?
yeah. The 28-3 Super Bowl, just because literally everyone's watching it. They're like, "Yo, this is crazy. It's a blowout. This is a whack Super Bowl." And then obviously everyone knows what happened after that. The comeback, the Julian Edelman crazy catch. There was just a lot of high moments, a lot of great like high moments, a lot of yeah. So
Hey,
yeah,
uh,
I would
and
say that one.
good thing Kyle Shanahan screwed that up. Otherwise, Dan Quinn would have, if he
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl, he would have had a longer
Ironically,
leash.
yeah, I
Might
didn't
not
even
have
think
ended
about
up
that.
here.
Ironically, Dan
know?
Quinn is here,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely
My
agree.
favorite bowl, Kyle, I know you didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you my favorite Super Bowl other than that one was probably Rams Titans. That was like
Oh, that was a
one of
good
the
one,
Super
too.
Bowls where I was like, this is so sick when I was a kid. And then, seeing London Fletcher in there on that play, and then obviously finding out who London Fletcher ended up being to me in my life and just our franchise's life in general, being like, this guy's sick. London Fletcher Baker when he was with the Bills. That's what they called him. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I'll say honestly, it's hard to grade him because like, is it based on the outcome or is it just a good game? Like I think the Arizona and Pittsburgh Super Bowl was magnificent. The way that game ended, unfortunately the Steelers had to win, of course. But then you could also go down like the Patriots versus the Seahawks, where Malcolm Butler picks him off in the end zone. Obviously on that goal line play there. There's so many that you could really dial up and say this was my favorite of all time. But I'll go back to the original. I'll say the Patriots' first Super Bowl win. That Vinatieri kick for them to win the Super Bowl. I remember sitting in my room at that point, being like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy!" I was young and I was like 11, but I was like, "This is crazy." But that was a lot
Speaking
of
of cool kickers, what's up with Justin Tucker, man? How's he doing?
I don't know, man. Now let's go to our.
He was
next...
getting jerked off by masseuses, Kyle. He's doing great.
I don't know
better than us.
I don't know what
I'm telling
happened.
you, man.
Allegedly.
The guy's constantly relieved. Yeah. He's doing awesome.
Now, this next question, I didn't pay attention to it. This next question from
Yeah,
Deluxe.
me either.
When do we expect the first signing or extension to be announced, Reed? And who will it be?
Oh, I don't know. Fuck, that's a pretty good question. Who will it be? Who will be the first signing an extension? Damn, I don't off of the 1 year contract. I mean, I would like to see it just based off of those guys. Jeremy Chin resign. I like the way Jeremy Chin played, but off the top of my head, who do you guys got? You guys are probably better at this than me. Like everything, because I'm fucking fat and dumb according to Kyle. Because Kyle just treats me like a fool, and I am. So
I would say Terry is in the because he only has 1 year left, and so you just want to ensure that Jaden has that weapon and make sure that Terry retires here. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if that comes down the pipeline. Like I don't think that Washington can announce anybody that is I think an unrestricted free agent until after the league starts, right? So
okay,
it's
right.
not like they
I
can
guess.
sign now, right? But it's like if you're already under contract, you agree to an extension,
Well,
you
no, I
can do
think I
that.
think you can re-sign your guys. I think, right? You can re-sign your guys before they hit the market. I
Maybe if
think.
maybe if it's based on like the whole for
According to Madden, you do that first before free
good point.
agency. No, but the trades thing's weird because remember the Alex Smith Kendall Fuller trade was announced on like January 26th or something that season. So like
you know
you
what?
can
They
have
announced
trades
it,
in
but it
place.
didn't. It didn't really
It
like
wasn't
go
official
through. Yeah, it
until
wasn't official
yeah, it
until
wasn't official until,
the first league
but you
day
can
or whatever.
announce it if you agree to it in
We
place.
had two
And
months
this,
to think about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We were like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Do you want more?
Yeah, are you sure? We can give you more. We'll give you more.
I'll say the first signing will be Tressway because
Hell yeah.
he'll just walk into the office and be like, just run it back with the same deal I've had for the last X amount of years. And they'll say, okay, because it's probably cheap as far as like, I mean, I don't know how much punters make annually, but I'm going to
Yeah.
say he probably makes on like the higher end of the punters because he's that good. But I mean, how much can a punter actually really make? So yeah, I'd
They'll
say it's
say
going to be Tressway because that's the easiest deal to get done.
Yep.
they'll say jokes on you, Tress. We would have paid you a lot more money than you asked for if you would have just
We're going
negotiated.
to
He's
give
like,
you
well,
a 500% increase,
yeah.
but nah, you're
They're
good.
like, you don't want the max? He's like, I don't didn't even think about it. They're like, all right, cool.
All right, now this next question from Deluxe Hall. Will Miles Garrett become a team's Reggie White or Khalil Mack?
Ooh,
Depends what team he goes to, but
It's fair.
I'd say if he somehow landed here, I would say yes. I think he would become our Reggie White, Khalil Mack, and I think that he would go down if he gets into a Super Bowl, wins a Super Bowl. He would go down as one of the better pass rushers in our franchise's history, just based off of the impact he would have off of that 1 year that he got here, or however many years it takes to get to a Super Bowl if he gets here. But um, yeah, I would say it depends on what team he goes to, but it sounds like he wants to go to like a contender. So I would say either way, I do think that he puts a team over the top like a Reggie White and a Khalil Mack would
I,
or
I
did.
yeah, I do think it's more likely that Miles Garrett would be like on the Reggie White side of the spectrum than Khalil Mack because with defensive end, it's not like playing in a new defense is really asking you a hell of a whole lot. Like obviously there's some minute details, there's some little things that you do differently, but for the most part it's see quarterback, get quarterback. And somebody like Miles Garrett, that size, that speed, natural athleticism is something that easily translates. And it's much more so about like the mind, the work ethic, mentality, and being able to be I don't know consistent in that regard. And I don't think Miles Garrett is that sort of guy like the Albert Hainsworth type of aspect.
no,
So I
he's
do
not.
think that he's had like what 16 and a half sacks. Like he's had over 10 sacks like
He's had
every.
at least 14 for the last
14
4
like 3 or
years.
4 years in a row. Yeah.
So like I don't doubt, and
Yeah,
it's been on Cleveland, and so like no disrespect to Cleveland, it's just the fact that I
No,
do have
there's
full
plenty of
confidence
disrespect.
yeah,
that he
yeah.
would completely be able to continue his workload somewhere else. Like if Reed on a Saturday, if he got moved to another corner,
Right. Well, I would dominate, dude. It doesn't matter. Uh, yeah,
he's like
Cleveland.
Kobe out there.
Yeah,
Shaq in the paint, just straight domination.
yeah. We would want you to come here and be a LeBron. We wouldn't want you to come here and be a Mimi from the Drew Carey show, Cleveland Rocks. Remember Mimi? She was all fat and looked like a clown. She looked like Drew Carey in drag. She was nuts. I can't believe that they were just like, yeah, that's the look. There you go. Like she looked
That I can't.
wild.
I love that show, man.
That was such a good show. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was,
I mean, whose line is it anyway
define
was
good.
obviously better, but
Yeah, oh yeah, way better. But that was mainly because my boy Ryan Stiles. Ryan Stiles was so funny on that show. He was funny on Drew Carey show too. But no, yeah, Miles Garrett. Smells Garrett. He's that dude. He's a hard worker. That's like always been his thing since he was coming out. You haven't really heard problems with him like the other like elite pass rushers that were coming out that high, like Jadeveon Clowney, all these guys. Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett's a nerd. Miles Garrett, like he like loves dinosaurs and shit. Like he's like a science dude. But you can just tell how disciplined he is. Look at the dude's body, Kyle. I know you do that a lot because you really love the male physique. And Miles Garrett, it's insane how like his body, it's just like that would even, like I look at him and I say, good God, oh my God. I would like to have I would love for him to just appear in my room one night.
Now the next question that we
on
have
top of me with warm, powerful thrust. The hell, Kyle, ew.
Now the next question we have, Reed, is from Tim Towner. Buy or sell? Chinese food is a top 5 takeout option. And plus, side note, do you eat sushi?
What was the question there? Oh, buy or sell? Like Chinese? Yeah, dude, Chinese top notch. Chinese is when it comes to takeout food. Come on, man. They did it right. Look, I'm not gonna say China does a lot of things right now because I know where we kind of stand in the state of the world. But American Chinese food,
Slavery
really
thing, you gotta kind of chill out with it. Man.
What? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Okay, but do I eat sushi? Yes, I will go from Chinese to a Japanese, and I will destroy some sushi. I love sushi, but I'm kind of a pussy with sushi because I'm like such a white dumb fucking American where I'm just like, yeah, give me the California roll, but I'll eat like 70 of them. I can devour sushi.
Reed
dude.
eats his sushi like.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I thought everyone did it that way.
Yeah, I say, can you just not cut the roll? Can you just give it to me in about 12-inch increments? And then I just, I'm like Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating contest. Or, yeah, like Kyle. Yeah.
Was it from a Family Guy? He's like,
yeah. Kyle eats his,
not
on
Step
the
Brothers.
cob.
That's a Family Guy, but Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Like Dan
Kobayashi.
You remember the Dan Quinn gif when he's like,
yeah.
That's Reed with his
walrus,
sushi.
Tusks. Dude, yeah.
Yes, Tim. Without
man.
a doubt, Chinese food is a top 5. And the fact that you don't like
Yeah,
sushi,
you want a kung pao chicken? I'm sorry.
the fact it's okay that if you don't like sushi, I didn't like sushi for the first like big portion of my life until a couple of my boys like showed me a sushi buffet, and then I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like you got to use soy sauce, you got to use sriracha, dip soy sauce and then sriracha, and dude, I'm telling you,
Use the wasabi.
I'm not a
wasabi.
Yeah. Oh yes, I wasabi. Baby.
I'm not a white bitch like Reed. Like I eat more than just a California roll, right? Like I'm actually a sophisticated
Kyle, I eat
sushi
eel.
eater.
Kyle, I eat ass, dude. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. It's the flavor. It's the scared of getting sick thing for me.
But yes,
funny.
it's okay. You just gotta try the right one. But I don't want to say any more because then you're just gonna rip something else off. Oh.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Chinese food, top 5, top 3. Honestly, it might even be top 3, not even 3. It might not even be 3. It might be 2. But
might not even be 2.
It might not be 2 either. But
Might be number 1.
I do eat sushi. I don't eat I've never had like a
Yeah,
like the crazy, like the raw, like crazy fish on top of the rice. But I've had like spicy tuna rolls or like California rolls. I'll crush some shrimp tempura.
Spicy
That's
gringo.
fire.
Yeah, shrimp tempura is so good.
Put a bunch of wasabi on it. There'll be a
Yeah.
little bit of like that ginger leaf or whatever they give you.
Yeah. It's always a funny joke to tell the dumbass that you're with who's never eaten sushi that the wasabi's guacamole, and then watch them take a big bite of it and watch what they do.
Okay.
Nice job, dumbass. It's spicy.
Now the next question that we have, Hall, is from Tim Towner. The goat of kitchen appliances is the air fryer. Are you buying or selling?
I would agree with that. Yeah, and you can pretty much put anything in an air fryer, and it's going to come out banging. So I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because Catherine actually her birthday is in a couple days, and she wants an air fryer, and so she reassured me the other day. She was like, just so you know, I want an air fryer.
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, I was like, oh, I was like, okay, babe. Like I was playing it
But
off
could you imagine
like I
if you
wasn't paying
got that
attention.
without her asking for it? If you got that for it, you could be in a. That's a very risky thing. Getting a woman kitchen appliances,
Yeah,
that's a
sure.
very risky. That could have went very bad. So you're very lucky.
Well,
Here's some pots and pans. Here's some.
but
Here's a broom. Clean. Like you
so
know what I'm saying?
I
Like
will say that I have heard that having an air fryer is awesome, and it's something
yeah.
that's a game changer. Of course, I'm very excited to be
Game
able to get
changer.
one. I don't know if I'm getting one for Catherine. I don't know 100%,
Yeah.
or not, but
You're going to
I'm
see
very
something
excited to
fly
get one.
through the camera like, bang.
That's not for. That's a gift for you. You're gonna say yes, yes. Put more chicken nuggies in there. Give me some honey mussy
Come
so I
on,
can dip my
man.
chicken nuggies cooked in the air fryer.
I will say, though, chicken nuggets,
Air
game
fryer's
changer. Like,
greatest
they're
thing of
good
all
in the
time.
oven. You put them in the air fryer,
Yeah, but you
it's
gotta
like
wait like 30
a whole
minutes for it
nother
to
level.
preheat and all that shit. Like air fryers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a whole nother level.
Let's get
Yeah.
wings.
I was skeptical at first,
Yeah,
and then we got one,
wings.
and I was like, see what everyone's been, as the kids say,
Right.
glazing these air fryers.
Yeah. 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 Air fryers have so much riz. They're not Ohio at all, dude. You
Hella
know what the
rich.
kids say these days?
Yep. Now let's break down this Super Bowl. Obviously, it's coming down here in a couple hours. As much as we've had a lot of fun on this episode, let's break it down. Hall, if you want to go first, how do you think it's going to go?
I think it's gonna be similar to the maybe not as high scoring as the last time they played each other a couple years ago, but I think it'll be similar as far as like the close game. It's gonna come down to who makes the mistake and who doesn't make the mistake. Obviously, the Eagles, the one mistake they made last time was they Jalen Hurts fumble that got returned for that touchdown. Which, but I also heard somebody say today that in the second half of that game they scored on every single possession except for one. It was a 4th and 2, and they ended up punting the ball. I guess might have been before they did they have the tush push back then. I don't even remember, but
Yeah, they
it
did.
was it was a 4th and 2, and they ended up punting it. And obviously they scored on every other possession. Other than that, you would assume they probably, if they get that, they probably score on that possession as well. Swung the game. So I would say that, and they have the tush push now, like whatever they got Saquon and all that. So I would say that it's going to be a close game. Probably come down
Ah, but the
to
Chiefs have the refs.
oh shit. It probably come down to like the fourth quarter, last 5 minutes, last 3 minutes of the game. I'm hoping that Pat Mahomes has the ball last because we all know how that ends. So, but I would say score will be. My heart says, my brain says that Philly's probably going to win this just because this is like that type of year. But my heart wants the Chiefs to win just because I hate Philly. I hate everything about Philly, and I like to watch the Chiefs. I like to watch greatness. I want to see them three-peat. That would be pretty tight. So I'm just gonna go with my heart, and hopefully I'm correct. I'll say 31-30 Chiefs.
I would say that score total is probably right around where like I'm expecting it, because this year the Chiefs' mo hasn't even been their offense; it's been their defense has really carried them and done it. Like they haven't even had Isaiah Pacheco for most of the year. They still somehow found ways to win. It's almost like at this point, like in Madden, when you have just won so many times that like now you're just like okay, whatever. And like I'm just gonna find a way to win at the end of the game every single time, and like that's almost what the Chiefs are on at this point. But like with the Eagles, you very much have a concern when viewing the Eagles because it's like, all right, where is their weakness, right? And they don't really have one. The one aspect of this I think is going to be a game changer is the fact that I think Kansas City has like been fifth in the season up until this point against tight ends, and getting somebody like Dallas Goedert involved really does help Jalen Hurts. And so if you're able to limit Dallas Goedert and that running a game just a little bit enough, you can kind of force Jalen into things, which I think possibly is going to happen. Was a huge fan of Shamari Connor, the slot corner from the Kansas City Chiefs at Virginia Tech. I wanted us to get him. I think that's somebody who can make a play today. But without a doubt, no problem at all. No problem saying this. I'm picking the Chiefs. I mean, it's nature.
It's one of those things where like I mean, just being honest, look, put all biases aside. The Eagles are really good. The Eagles roster is the best roster in the NFL. They're a very good team. And it sucks. The Chiefs are they're the Chiefs, but they haven't been the Chiefs of the past couple of the past years that we're used to, and they've kind of squeaked by some games. They got and they finish it out. So I mean, the wins will win. Like no, but the Eagles, like really, the two games that they lost, or they really only, they lost to the Bucks and they lost to the Falcons. Falcons was due to a drop by Saquon. They lost to us, and that was that Devontae Smith drop, man. That was whether we like it or not, they would have been there. They would have been right there. So they really only lost like for sure one game where they actually got 100% beat, and they're very good, and I hate to admit it, but they are. But that being said, the Chiefs are gonna dog them, and I hope that the refs play a big part in it. I hope that they screw Philly. I hope that they start calling the tush push down the middle. I hope that they fucking don't let you breathe on Patrick Mahomes, and I hope that it screws the Eagles and that the Chiefs win. No, but either way, I think just Mahomes, man, you can't bet against them. Like they haven't. The Eagles' defense should dominate just on paper this game, but it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, man. They're gonna put points up. They're gonna do something, and I think that the Chiefs are gonna end up winning 78-2.
All right, that makes sense. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. We will see you guys again, most likely either next on Wednesday or on Sunday. I'll keep you guys updated in the Discord and on social, on Twitter and everything. You can go and find me on Twitter at the Burgundy Zone. You can find Reed at Old Dad 2156. You can find Hall at TBZ Money Mike 301. Now
You can also find Kyle on Backpage at 69 God. Standing 69 God. It's like a tombstone pile driver from The Undertaker.
All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this episode. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I hope you have a great, fantastic week. We'll keep you updated when we're going to be recording next. All right, everybody. I'm Kyle.
I'm Hall.
I don't know. I was going to think of something funny Kanye said, but you can't say anything that he said. What the hell? So, nothing. I got nothing. I don't know who I am.
All right, everybody. We'll see you guys again. Washington football. Woo!
Peace.
What's up, everyone? This is Kyle from the Burgundy Zone. We are releasing our own merch to support the show. If you want to rock the Burgundy Zone logo or you want to see Reed's face on your shirt, we got it. We're starting with t-shirts, hoodies, and zip-up. So if you're a fan of the show, make sure you snag one before they are gone. Check out the link in our bio on Instagram, or you can find the link in the description of the video. Thanks again for all your support. Until next time.